Greetings everyone, please give me a moment to make sure everything's set on up. Activate the live chat windows. Now that started taking sweet time. Maybe the program crashed. Program did not crash. It's car. Okay, Twitch is good. Everything appears to be online. Howdy. And I think everything is good to go. So, let's go. Oh, I should probably open my drink before I actually start getting recording, because you don't want to hear that in the start of replay. Now, let's see if you guys can guess what color of monster that was, or flavor. Sort of like, do people call it colors or flavors of monsters? Let's be frank. If somebody knows the flavor of, like, say, Gatorade or Powerade, they're probably a Fed. Because I think there's people just call it by the color. Either way, let's get started. Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Small on top right side is the blue wheel, we got Jean Bat 13. Small on bottom left side as the turquoise Lee, or Gregor, we got blue leader. Of course, Lee is a custom CO using a Valkyria Chronicles icon, or image. Standard boarding cost, 3 radius, 36 to 60. All units get additional +10/+10, and start the turn with +1 movement range. For super power, +2, so he's basically Adder. Will is of course unchanged. The cartridge counterpart has standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 36-60. All units get additional +10/+10. Ground direct units get additional +20% offense, and of course for superpower get +2 movement as well. So Will's superpower is definitely more potent, but his day-to-day is probably a little bit, is just different, let's just say. Because extra movement is nice, but I haven't seen it game breaking, honestly. Let's see if the stream will have a repeat like the last one. Oh, sorry, did I do a repeat last time? My apologies. It feels like there's a lot less replays recently. I made sure to stop at, with last week. Granted, last week I was running a little bit late, so I was just looking at replays on the fly rather than pre-setting up the numbers, which I probably didn't take a good look at the dates finished. But this week I did do a better job with that. It's not often to see Lee go for a CO'd infantry in there. That last one between Will and Snowwind, got it. Plus, for me, I cast a lot of different games, so I don't have a excellent memory. Things are popping in the back of my mind, but then it's like, oh, that seems different. And sometimes you just gotta go with it. More infantry, no CO. Of course, only have 500 monies left over. Probably don't want to slow down the infantry production. Will has 7,000 monies this turn. Could go for a tank and double base skip, which is probably not a good idea. Just more infantry. Lee this turn will have 6,500, which is enough to get a unit CO'd. So now this infantry unit can get +1 movement, and that one takes its place. So this one has to move first, and this can move forward and then boost the possible units over here. Tank, infantry. Will make CO this tank. T-copter, infantry. Not enough monies for another infantry unit. So Will's tank's gonna get some good work done. He may CO it. COing it would be quite useful to get some early power charge, to say the least. But of course, that's with caster vision. another tank and pair of infantry. Didn't want to slow down tank production. Was not a bad idea either. In theory, he would not be able to afford... there's a lot of things he can still do. I don't feel like doing good mathematics right now because his opponent can do it for him because he's already chose his actions when this ever replay ended. Or started. It's probably closer to the start point than end point right now. Does with the tank on top of the HQ, so likely this is going to be a CO tank. No tanks by Lee just yet, but he did go for a gunboat. Interesting. Gunboats, of course, more expensive than T-copters. So it's probably better to go for a T-copter than a gunboat if you want to push infantry to the various stuff along the side. But it's, and of course, has a bit more efficiency in the middle. Granted, gunboats are relatively mobile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tiles rather than the 6. So they do have advantage, don't get me wrong. Or do get me wrong. Like the fake news media sites. Double artillery, infantry units just sort of just stationary there, boosting the movement of a couple units there, including this gunboat now. So it probably moves 7, not 8, but with the gunboat infantry unit here, 8. Will has a good amount of armor on the field. 3 tanks. Lee has deployed out 0 tanks. Battlecopter would be a good call with our cast vision, though we do have an anti-air. Get some T-copter. Mechs are a decent item for Lee as well. Since plus movement range of mechs, like I always say, they counter everything, but they get countered by everything. Battlecopter, triple infantry. It's also one reason why Adder in Advanced Wars by Web is actually a pretty good mech CO, because it can just like, yeah, you move one more space tile now. Somebody knows about my Twitch stream, maybe a little bit buggy. Let me refresh it. Yep, looks is working fine now. Battlecopter, triple infantry. Does get trapped. Does get stuck once again. Of course, there's just a pair of infantry units getting stuck, which could draw out a tank. Anti-air is pretty far forward in the center. T-copter ends his turn on top of the airport, which will get a bit of resupply there. Infantry unit on top of the seaport now. Mech. Mech can be loaded with the gunboat. And the fog war sped up mechs can be quite jump scary. True, having a mech sprint out of the woods. Does double tap the infantry unit there, does survive with 2% health. Like it was a jug of milk, 2% milk with its fat content. That joke probably does not land, even if you are American. Now I wonder, do people from other countries... In the United States, we have a handful of different types of milk. We got 2% fat milk, 1% skim milk, which I think is close to 0. Of course, you got vitamin enhanced milk, and of course chocolate milk, and some other weird other flavored milks. At least I wonder if other countries have at least difference between 2% and skim milk. Never thought about it until now. Battlecopter did get a good shot there, however, this anti-air lurking in the woods, ready to fill the battlecopter full of holes. And of course, we'll have CO zone to boost up it as well, so that battlecopter is going to be shot down. We've got the rockets, tank, and pair of infantry. We've got 2 T-copters now. There goes the battlecopter. There goes the infantry in there. Will's getting excellent amount of energy, up to 30 energy. Does spot the seal infantry unit there. How damning. That infantry unit is fall back, maybe to the mountainside, become an Alpine Jaeger. Going to capture up that seaport now, and looks like he will grab it. Artillery providing some artillery cover. Who would have thunk? Triple tank last turn. Lee is still lacking tanks. Does he only have one tank still? I've not been paying close enough attention to tank production, but it seems like he's still at one, now only at one tank. But we got a mech ready to sprint. Got another gunboat. Maybe he's going to try to do a lot of pushing forward with mechs of gunboats. That would be interesting. War tank, and infantry. So we do have a war tank on the field, which is actually a relatively rare asset. It's that infantry unit, not twice, but thrice. Infantry unit can be shelled by some artillery. Battlecopter, double bike, and a tank. I suppose Lee's able to push forward the war tank pretty quickly. I don't like Lee's army too much. This seems a little bit too slow for the CEO, who's all about boosting movement range. I suppose he can boost forward the slow movements a little bit more easily, of course. War tanks, of course, are basically a 4-movement medium tank from previous games. So they're actually a nerfed medium tank. Medium tanks in this game, of course, are a bit more hybridized. They're far more vulnerable to regular tank fire. I think regular tanks in Days of Ruin needs a slight armor buff. Like maybe just 10% more armor. I feel like they're a little bit too fragile. I like the fact that tanks and mechs can engage them quite successfully and do quite well, but I think they do it a little bit too well. Tank, and anti-air. Even something simple as 5%, I would say, would be good. Because it can take, what, 50% damage from a tank from first strike? They basically have the same armor as a tank. Anti-air. Anti-air, mech, and anti-air. It's infantry there. 53, 58. And there's a superpower available. Doesn't mean he can deploy it out next turn, or will deploy it out next turn. Though, only thing can range his CO tank right now is artillery piece. And that's about it. Battlecopter might be in range of Battlecopter. Yes, it is. So it can at least hit the Battlecopter. And looks like the anti-air is in range to be shelled by the artillery piece. Not by the rocket, though. Oh no, it is in range. I can't count. So the rocket and artillery piece will both get some work done there. Artillery piece has a good target in front of him. It's a regular tank there, very good. Takes out an infantry unit there as well, up to 44 energy. Being +2 movement range global would be very nice, but this infantry unit is a little bit too exposed. You may want to get the mech and tank surrounding it. Strikes a CO tank there. Battlecopter strikes Battlecopter. Hits infantry unit there, hits infantry unit there, hits a Battlecopter there. We do have a battleship on top of the seaport. Is out of range. The artillery piece is quite important. Battleship's interesting. And Lee now has a superpower available. Tank, mech. Will pops the superpower. Of course, it does get +2 movement range with ground vehicles. Hits the CO infantry unit once, but and sprints around and flanks and takes it out. I do Company Heroes 2 tomorrow. I do Company Heroes 2 on Wednesdays. Does strike the artillery, and does take out the artillery there. Bomber. Infantry, infantry, and infantry. You could see all the tank or one of the mechs in the back line. Does take out that tank there. Mech take out tank. Hits some infantry units now. Of course, we do have a bit of global defense. Double mech transport. Could have CO'd the battleship. That's probably would have been a horrible idea. CO's a tank, of course. War tank, double infantry. Battlecopter does strike the war tank. Does strike that battleship a couple times thanks to the artillery, softening it quite a bit. T-Copter, tank, and infantry. T-Copter may be used to capture up these various properties along the side. Battleship strikes regular tank, hits the infantry unit, capture the city, captures the city. Gets another T-Copter for a mech, gets another... Those have got pretty good mech, like, now being established. Instant turned up on one of the cities, so that war tank gets some repairs. Interrupts the capture even further on that seaport and drops forward a 5 infantry. This gunboat could eye for these properties over here. Goes for a rig, battlecopter, and pair of mechs. And looks it does find the battleship. Enters range of battleship onto the seaport. However, that could have been spotted thanks to that gunboat. Or can be spotted by the gunboat. We do have, of course, this bomber here. Soon to be a 6 health anti in this region, but nothing else to stop that bomber. Those things are massive engagements. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and infantry. Wills enter 156 versus 126, ahead by 30,000 funds. Does spot the artillery, shells the artillery. It's nice, easy 10 energy there. To the reef and cheese the artillery. Oh, that's pretty much what he did. It was not really cheese, honestly. Another mech, this time we load up into a rig that's trying to rig the game. Hits up by a couple times, hits the bomber, softening up a little bit. Fighter, infantry, mech, and artillery. Okay, so tank takes out infantry in there. Rocket remains hidden for now. That rocket may be a one-shot the tank since on top of a beach. A double-sided beach. If I was a double-sided beach, I would probably, as a kid, I would probably love to have fun trying to swim across that. If a tank can drive over it, I could probably walk over it. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and artillery. Recon to help reconnoiter the area. Does take a tank there. Leaves up 29 energy. Wheels at 46. CO tank can strike the anti-air, but that's probably not a great idea. Let the mech get some good shots on. Does strike it. Strikes the tank there. Hits the tank there. Still got 2 tanks, so Lee's tank is somewhat vulnerable, but is somewhat surrounded by mechs. Lee's at the 51 energy. Will's at the 53. Will can deploy out his superpower this turn. Pulls back a CO tank. Strikes the battleship for a little bit of damage there. Oh. Deletes a whole bunch of units there to stop power charge. Very nice. What was that? 3 infantry units there? "19 capture progress has been obtained. One more turn and it will be captured, regardless of whatever health is left on the infantry unit, as long as it's not 0 or 12. Does take out the bomber there. Tank, mech, rig, and battlecopter. Battlecopter's fallen back. Fighters do actually have pretty good vision range. I can't really pull it up here, but you can see the fighter does have, what, 5 vision range? So it has its own radar. How many transports does he have? 1, 2... There's like, what, 2 gunboats, 2 T-copters, 2 rigs? So 6? If my offhand math is incorrect. It's quite a bit, to say the least. He is going for heavy mechs. Fighter does go and spot that infantry unit there. A nice recon overpass. Tank, gunboat, infantry, and anti-air. Bomber heading up north. Of course, I don't think Lee has spotted it. Joins the battlecopter together, donating veterancy, donating fuel. It looks like this battlecopter is fully resupplied. Gunboat right now has 31 fuel. Of course, to have a temporary seaport being established, probably meant for the battleship. Wouldn't be half bad for the gunboat. Takes out a fighter there. There is an anti-air nearby. The anti-air will be over to anti-air that will hit the battlecopter next turn. Lee's at 51 energy. Does board the temporary seaport. Lee has now 59 energy. 1 more energy and we get his superpower. And there's his... Nope, that was not attack with his near CO zone. He may want to push that infantry unit up north so he can get that bit of extra power charge there. Does get trapped, so now it can easily be snared and destroyed by the CO in the CO zone. Anti-heroes do take out some battle copter or mechs. Does spot the ward tank and CO tank. Anti-hero might be in range of the bomber. No, it's not. It needs 3 tiles, not 2. Anti-hero takes out the battle copter, not the fighter. And you've got now 2 bombs up north. That fighter needs to start migrating up north. Tank, T-copter, tank, and bike. Does not take out the battle copter. It's the CO power. Pop super CO power. And does have the hero theme rather than anti-hero or the bad guy theme, even though Lee or Gregor, the skin, is a bad guy. He's not afraid to work POWs to death. Battleship does take out the tank there. Battleship does end turn on top of the seaport as well, or temporary seaport. Of course, nothing more permanent, that's something that's temporary. Another mech. Infantry, mech, fighter, and tank. Will's superpower now activated. Does take another battlecopter. Battlecopter does spot the battleship, takes the 3 health infantry unit there. Mech strikes the battlecopter, nukes the rig. Fighter here does need some fuel. Of course, his rig's up here, and temporary airport here. Another fighter has been put on the field. Tank does strike tank. I don't know if the rocket's been spotted this entire game. The extra defense on Lee's superpower did save the recon. That T-copter just failed and just turned on top of a shore, or was just out of range? Does get some good hits there. We saw the anti-air. Anti-air strikes bomber. Another mech. Shells some units, very nice. Mech, infantry, and tank with another battlecopter. Leaves back at the 41 energy, getting mass amount of energy, and Will should get some good energy this turn as well. Lee's CO tank does go down. He can re-CO tank or battlecopter. Ooh, and T-copter fully loaded gets stuck. Anti-air, and tank. Tries to tank down south with the rocket. The rocket finally got his first kill. Fighter down to 18 fuel. Stacks the anti-air, hits the bomber. Takes out the tank there. Fighter strikes the full health bomber. Takes out the 2 health bomber. Strikes the T-copter, strikes the T-copter twice, but does not finish it off. Tank, mech. And another tank. Wait, did he just build another gunboat? I blinked. Yeah, he has 3 gunboats now in the field. Bomber does strike the battleship. Now he's at 7 transports. Will's at 60 energy. Tank, battlecopter, and artillery. Another mech. Another mech. Another anti-air. Leaving 15,000 funds in the bank. Opposite superpower hits a tank, spots the artillery, strikes the artillery, takes out the 2 elf tank. Does strike one of the mechs up north, takes out 2 mechs. Ooh, 4 health bomber does get stuck, but it's just a 4 health bomber. Fighter is in range of that bomber though. Tank, bike, and battlecopter. Those strike that battlecopter there. Bomber strikes fighter strikes bomber. Mech takes out the anti-air. Okay, so they have 2 infantry unit there. Another mech. Battlecopter, infantry, and mech. Goes up to 9, now 15, 17 energy. Lee's fighter should be a one-shot that battlecopter. We'll just not see Lee's infantry unit as well, so the mechs will get some good work done. Anti-air, tank, and tank. Answer 172 versus 151. Oh, this is a meme game? I suppose all the transports? Yeah, it's not super... It's one way to use mechs, get them really pushed forward. Sorry, I just saw your comment. Does take out the anti-air. It's the tank there, just leaving Will's a couple tanks up here. It's soon to be 8 health tank, or artillery can get a shot on this tank there. I mean, mechs are good, like I said, they counter everything, but they get countered by everything. They're just slow. Any way you can push them forward like this can be very effective. Mech, war tank, and regular tank. Ain't here, ain't here. Those striking back there. Finally, I think that's the first time that the rocket's actually been revealed. Ain't here, and bike. Gunboat sees some stuff. And now has PTSD. Fighter does fall back to the temporary airport. Mech does track the tank there. Battlecopter or T-Copter forward. Another tank. It has to be since I built up little tanks and made more tanks on such a big map. Yep. Let's look at the infantry there. Battleship is now at maximum efficiency if it wasn't already. Rocket does take a shot there. It's probably gonna get blown up this turn. Does spot the anti-air or spots a battlecopter. It looks like the Southern Flame's starting to get overran. Bo's making some good progress there. Lead now has the superpower available. Medium tank, and mech. Puts the mech on top of the city on the island. Interesting. Tank, infantry, and battlecopter. The battlecopter can be boosted forward. Takes out the 5 health mech. Hits the gunboat. Hits gunboat twice, knocking it out. Got this gunboat moving around, however, now got infantry occupying this city. Gunboat probably best going up here, of course. Lander mech or lander medium tank double bike. Pops superpower. Fighter sorties his way forward, takes out battlecopter, takes on the artillery, hits the anti-air, hits another tank, hits the another tank, hits the artillery again, hits that tank again, and managed to get all the way over around. Didn't think I had a vision of the transport copter. Maybe he did, not sure. Mech, battlecopter, and mech. Granted, there's a good chance that maybe the infantry just gets left behind there, so it's probably a safe assumption they can drop on that other city. Go for it, since the chance of infantry unit abandon that city is likely, since this is usually the last city captured. Push way forward, gets a good strike that infantry unit there. Leaves now with energy. Right now, Will's at 36. infantry, mech, battlecopter, and tank. Yep, that does appear to be the last city that was despicably neutral, waving the French flag. Tank does hit tank. Antier does strike the battlecopter, hits the tank there. Medium tank, and bike. Another mech ready to be loaded on up. Another mech ready to be loaded on up. There's good picks there. Does strike the artillery piece twice. Fireball does fall back to temporary airport. Will's turn. Does spot the infantry unit down south. Not like spotting 4 infantry's groundbreaking. T-Copter here is getting pretty low in fuel. Currently it is at 37 fuel. Does take the battlecopter there, takes out a mech there. Will's getting some good amount of energy. Will has enough for his 2 power. Takes out another mech there. Takes out another mech there. Takes out an infantry unit there. Goes to the rocket, will not be touched. Does take out Will's CO tank there, denying the CO power. Senhoff battlecopters actually getting pretty low on ammo. 2 ammo remaining. Double war tank and infantry unit. Fighter does take out a battlecopter. We do have anti-air in range though, and we do have a fresh bomber by Will as well. So that fighter being receiving a free shot is not great. There's 2 anti-airs in range. Of course, one of them will fly head to a battlecopter. Does it the fighter. Takes out the rocket. Battleship is at full health. And try to flip the comm tower. Three off mech can take out the 1 health tank. He has 1 ammo remaining. Gunboat up north. What about this gunboat? Anti-air does strike the tank. I wanted an infantry to back up to its port, so when I was driving it further, got it. Does hit that there. Fighter does fall back to temporary airport. Mech and bomber, so triple transport pickup. This land is on 33 fuel. Does hit this battlecopter, sacks that infantry tank there. Two health battlecopter might be able to finish off the 1 health tank. It's at 5%. Hits that tank there twice. Bill's taking some pretty good advantages so far. Lee right now does not have, or does have a steel unit on the field, 53 energy, so he could possibly get a superpower out next turn, which could be greatly beneficial to let this bomber nuke something like this. Max out efficiency ain't here on top of a road. Does have vision of the bomber as well. I think he should get the superpower going. It's the medium tank. The infantry unit may just want to fall back a little bit to save itself. Not end this on top of the forest there. It looks like Lee does resign there. Is angry, saying thank you for watching, and on to next replay. Before it gets on next replay, I do need your restroom. Please give me a moment. Apologies, I'm back. He was sort of gained more and more territory, that's what's for sure. After all, he was basically pushed back to like this part, got good force on both sides. Either way, on to next replay. Let's see now, this text document of replays. The naval map. And what was the last Cassis one? I think the last time Cassis was Greyfield. Either way, let's get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. So on the left side as the red gauge, we got Jean Bat 13. Excuse me, and so on the right side as the purple Snowwind, we got Roberto 58. When it comes to these COs, Gauge Horseman buff from the Cartridge counterpart has standard boarding cost 2 radius, 36 and 60. All units get additional plus 10, plus 20. Wait, did he get a slight rework again since last time I checked? I must be overthinking it. Indirect units and naval units get additional plus 20% offense, and CO units get additional plus 20% offense. Blah, cannot speak. And for a superpower, also get plus 2 maximum range for indirect range. When it comes to Snowwind's of course a custom CO, standard boarding cost 1 radius, 3660. All units in the CO zone, all unloaded units get 1 health recovery and fuel and ammo start at every turn. All air units get additional plus 30, and you're able to forward deploy your first infantry or mech unit. She has both a power and superpower, both cost 6 energy, so pick one. Of course, provide the health recovery and fuel and ammo recovery globally. Get the plus 30, and launch a black bomb at any target location, the highest accumulation of value, or able to forward deploy your entire army. So let's get started. Triple bases, one airport, one seaport, a seaport that's actually usable. There's a lot of blue water on this map. You can see only shores in the centers here. There's also a pair of unsecured temporary seaports. Lander heading up north right there. Of course, I got some infantry units down here, so of course we'll need to use a T-car to reach it. Keeping 3,000 monies in the bank. No CO unit just yet. An early CO unit's not uncommon for Snowwind, just get the forward deploying infantry units here. But she's mostly been back capturing at the moment. Another infantry unit there, 4,500 versus 3,000, 10,000. So Gage could go for tank double infantry this turn. Oh wait, he just captured that base there, so it wasn't tank double infantry. So it has 7,000 funds in the bank, so he's going to be up to 10,000 next turn. So he could go for a rocket. He does also have increased firepower for naval units, all naval units, not just direct, indirect naval units, aka the battleship. And commits a base skip of 14,000 funds a bank. Is he rushing out battleship? Battleships do cost 25,000. So next turn he will have 25,000. CO's a tank there. It's also not going to see Snowwind go for aircraft carriers since she can resupply the seaplanes with her CO zone. In fact, her being loaded up to a seaplane herself is actually quite effective. Battleship. So we've got fast battleship at turn 7. Very fast indeed. Let's call it a battle cruiser then. Wait, that's not what I meant. Good chance that battleship will be CO'd next turn, which will cost half of Gage's income, or more than half of Gage's income. Cost 12,500, which should give enough for a couple infantry. Don't think for 3 infantry, if my offhand math is incorrect. No, he actually should. CO's battleship leaving 3,500. Nope, only 2 infantry. So Gage is making a power play. Let's see how well it goes. He has a target-rich environment in front of him. It should be no problem for him to get infantry kills. Pretty sure CO Gage battleship has right now plus 75% firepower. That should reliably one-shot stuff. If he pays close attention to what's Snowwind's money, he should realize there's a submarine deployed in the field. 131, easy one-shot. Cruiser, he does realize. Very good. Cruisers, I'm to cruise for a bruising. Or try to cruise to give around a bruising. That joke went horribly. Of course, now one turn, Gage can make guesses where the sea cruiser or the battleship went. Of course, there's 3 different sea lanes that could have gone up. Of course, infantry units can end its turn on top of bridges, causing issues with submarine, because of course submarine can't dive underneath infantry. Who would have thunk? They can't dive underneath infantry on top of a bridge. So having this infantry unit end its turn on top of this bridge would deny access to this direction. And can't move anywhere else, so strikes right there. It is out of range of the submarine. Battlecopter, infantry, and tank. Or Snowwind does not have her CO unit on the field anymore. She could have CO'd a battleship. Does CO the, or does not CO the, it does go for another cruiser, or submarine. I swear I've said, oh, there's the CO tank there. I'm just blind. I said, submarines one of the rarest units of the game for me to actually say the word of. I think I said the word duster and seaplane more often than I've actually seen submarines. Another battleship. Gage is getting his fleet going. Of course, that does cause another triple base skip. If cities in the corners are touched by another side. I cannot speak right now, can I? Capture comm tower. Gage has captured up this comm tower already. Bomber. She may... Bomber, of course, can get plus 30% firepower and defense from the CO zone. Fighter. Let's see. Submarine is out of range of the CO battleship, but can strike the regular battleship. Submarines are, of course, 20,000, which are not cheap. Same price as this fighter. It might be cost effective for a submarine to hit that battleship. Offhand math suggests not. Does get hit, interrupt the capture those infantry units there. Snow to 25,000 versus 23,000. Strikes that cruiser or battleship there. Cruiser can, of course, engage it. Of course, there's two submarines there. A bit of a wolf pack, though they're not next to each other. Just a wolf pack. Battleship does end its turn there. If it does join and capture there, if this infantry unit can end its turn there, the submarine will not be able to range the CO battleship. Rig T-copter. Bike does not get end its turn on top of the bridge. Submarine can now strike the CO battleship, dealing, let's just say, 6 damage, which means it'll be down to 4 health. This would be at 5 health, so it could merge the two battleships afterwards. Ooh, battleship down to 8% health, so it wasn't super close there. Gage does have a superpower available, so you could pop that. Might be a good idea to sink the sub first, so the battleship can make its way more southwards, or maybe back to the seaport. Wait, you can't join and pop CO power at the same time, can you? Joins there, okay. That's how you played that out. Wait, how close is Bomber? The Bomber can range the battleship. Just needs a clear path to it. Got a gunboat. Fighter moves back there. I think the fighter should end its turn. No, then it could be vulnerable to cruiser. If the 9 health infantry could be focused down, which the battleship could help out with that. CO unit, battleship can take that out, and the bomber can strike the CO battleship. And there goes the flagship. Battlecopter goes down, another battleship by Snowwind. cruiser can also hit the bomber along with the fighter. Gauge, of course, could CO the gunboat, which is probably not a good idea. You can activate the CO power, but the other wounded unit has to be the one to merge into it. Got it. Yeah, I was thinking about having the battleship fall back to the seaport there. Can't activate this, the power and join at the same time. Oh, it does CO the gunboat. Just wants that extra firepower. Cruiser actually could one-shot the... Huh. It's probably thinks the CO zone. Because it was right here. That suggests full power. Oh, apparently... Oh yeah, I forgot. Cruisers receive a massive buff in Daisy Ruin where they're actually a good anti-air asset now rather than an okay one. And of course, this 4-elf cruiser will have a bit of trouble versus the fighter, though can always get a free shot onto it. Gauge at 20 energy. Snow one's at 14. Moving towards this comm tower. Gauge looks... It's hard to say who has upper hand right now at the moment with the infantry fight. Infantry battleship. Gunboat may just get sunk. Does think the gunboat. Probably should have left a 2-health gunboat because it'd be dead in the water. Gauge will have to delete it and delay a turn on COing the battleship. I think, yeah, leaving the 2-health gunboat with 0 ammo would be a good idea. Does sack a unit there, sack a unit twice, so the infantry got hit twice. CO's battleship strikes 4 health infantry, strikes cruiser. Fighter spots the submarine. Not like he has any other targets, can gauge the T-copper, but that's about it. More infantry. And just pulling back the infantry up there. Cruisers are probably the most buff in the classic units, battleships, anti-airs, and rigs, formerly APCs. Rigs able to pull out temporary airports and temporary seaports is a massive buff as well. So it's hard. I think actually rigs probably would be technically buffed up more because that's a straight up unique utility. But cruisers needed a massive buff. Overall, I think Daisy Ruin made sea play still much more fun rather than tedious and not great. But I think there's always room to improve. Where if there's ever a Daisy Ruin 2, which is probably not ever going to happen, I would like to see more naval units. Black boats can make a re-emergence, maybe to call them mobile dry docks somehow. But other things I would like to see is maybe in more tiles involving rivers, like 2-tile rivers, maybe some lighter ships to help traverse able to traverse rivers, and make it so landers and gunboats can also traverse rivers. And then add in like new units called like river monitors, just call them monitors, to go up, down ships, which may have like a light gun, maybe 2 range, like a mini battleship. Not very good, but just something basic. But cheap. Cheap, basic, like it does like 2 damage, but can strike air and ground. And sea. Just something like that. Maybe new river tile sets, like river through woods, to give some defensive tiles for rivers. And maybe other things like 2 wide rivers. Or maybe like and then like a deep river, like a 3 wide river, deep river, which is basically a sea tile, but just moves naval units, deep water units move slowly through them. Just ideas. I think more tile sets would be great for Advanced Wars. Hell, it could even be do like bit of Fire Emblem where it has like actual like 3D background with 2D sprites on top of it. No, probably not. That's one thing about when I look at Advanced Wars Reboot Camp. It just seemed like a little too cartoony, which it was more cartoony. If there's ever a new Days of Ruin, I would like for it to keep 2D, but like 4K sprites, if that makes any poor sense. More detailed pixel art as its idea, with keeping the gritty style. But those are just sort of ideas. You do have a nice fleet of battleships for Gage, 3 battleships, 1 max veterancy cruiser. Of course, got 2 battleships here, 1 cruiser, of course a bomber. Fighter right now is down to 25 health, 19 fuel. Bomber there. Temporary seaport has been captured by purple. This one is despicably neutral. Of course, I do have 2 submarines for Snowwind. Infantry. The fighter does get fully surrounded. T-Copter could be shot up a little bit. Actually, probably a little bit more than little, honestly. Gaze at 55 energy. He is now maxed out power charge. Of course, can't deploy a superpower this turn, but the extra range on battleships will be very nice. We do have his own submarine. Maybe swap monitors as torpedo boat, and then the gunboat's torpedoes, and then give the gunboat a gun. I find it weird how gunboat doesn't have gun. Doesn't have a machine gun. Though I do know, playing some Wargame Red Dragon, there's also a monitor boat that can also has a flamethrower. We do now have a aircraft carrier for Snowwind, so maybe go see some seaplanes. Snowwind still at 14 energy. Is this her still original CO unit? It feels like her energy has not been increasing whatsoever. Superpower popped. We do have a submarine here, which could trap a unit. Submarine traps a submarine. And cruiser, it looks like it to be in range. And this submarine could trap the cruiser. Another cruiser. Infantry, anti-air infantry. Fighter does strike the T-Copter, almost shot down. Fighter is down to 9 fuel, so the T-Copter can run away now. There's enough fuel drained there. If we have 4 fuel next turn. Takes out the anti-air, strikes the battleship. Maybe it can get launched from the aircraft carrier. Infantry rig. Battleship does seem a nice little hit there. A lot of 1 health infantry there to be blockers. Snowwind is turned 242 versus 190, so Snowwind has a nice advantage at the moment. Joins the battleships. Cruiser sinks the submarine. Of course, still got a number of bombers still floating about. Fighter does strike one of the bombers, leaving it down to 2% health. Missile. The missile knows that for knows where it's not. And the T-Copter did get itself destroyed a little bit foolishly. Could have been saved. Had enough movement speed to escape from it. It's at 4 fuel. Cruiser does shoot down the fighter. Aircraft carrier summons a seaplane. Strikes the unit trying to capture the comm tower, which makes good sense. No one's at 21 energy right now. Battleship here is down to 1 arrow, but next to a rig. Fighter falls out of the sky, sinks the cruiser. It's an infantry unit there. Rig next to CO battleship. Cruiser advancing next to the rig to get resupply there. Manually resupply there. Monster. I suppose destroying that rig there could have been very annoying to his opponent. Deny the resupply. Anti-artillery tank. Yep, submarines once below the waters consume 5 fuel per turn. Just had to double check that. It's like it feels like every single game's a little bit different with the fuel consumption between sunken submarines as well as even stealth fighters. Because in the cartridge, stealth fighters burns like 13 fuel per turn while stealth, something massive. But advanced orders by web, it's just like 8. Very different. Mech infantry cruiser. Does strike the cruiser there. Strikes the cruiser once again. This 3-off cruiser should be enough to take out the battleship. Has enough for CO power once again. Hits the battleship. Battle range of CO zone. Maybe could have pushed forward 1 town to get it buffed up. Either way. This battleship is down to 21 fuel, but should be resupplied by the CO zone. Power dropping some supplies into the submarine. Could not reach. Sorry, I must have missed that comment. Battleship, infantry, and tank. Trying to plot temporary seaport. Track the cruiser twice. The submarine once. It's the battleship once. The missile gets struck. Seaplane could be shot down by the missile. The missile knows that, for knows where it's not. Cruiser gets struck. That cruiser could fall back and get a shot on the bomber. $210,000 to 166, so Snowden still has a nice little 2-turn advantage, which is not exactly little. Strikes the CO tank, knocks it out, takes out this seaplane, lander falls back, takes out the bomber, with not the cruiser, does strike the submarine. The submarine's still spotted. T-Copter blocks the path from this submarine. The submarine's course. Everybody knows submarines can't travel underneath T-Copters or any sort of helicopter that's ruffling about. To be fair, being underneath any sort of helicopter in real life is not pleasant. It's also one reason why I don't think flying cars would be ever a thing, because the downdraft would just crush everything. And you'd be surprised how many buildings can't handle the extra pressure like that on top. Flying cars, way too much downward force. Takes off the infantry there. Tank could strike tank, but it'll be a 3 defense star tank. Could pop the superpower. But of course, the battleship has made its turn. Sinks the submarine. Has lost vision of the submarine. gunboat does take out the battleship. Infantry, battleship. Battleship gets struck once again, redeploys out another temporary seaport. Anti-airs are quite wounded, he may just join them. This tank no longer has infantry support. Stoneman does not have any CO unit on the field, may load herself up into a seaplane. Trying to capture the temporary seaport, which would be very nice to have. Cruiser falls back. Cruiser sinks submarine. Artillery, of course, can provide some coverage here with the effective superpower. The missile is advanced forward. An 8-range missile sounds quite horrifying to fight against. Snowman has to be careful for aero units now, as well as being aware of this battleship, and does decide to outright resign there, though she did have a fun advantage, right? Either way, this is Grade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. I have time for one last replay tonight. Let's just make sure, yep, 2 different players. Oh look, Sailor SK is back with Hawk. Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Advanced Wars, Days of Ruin, Tiny Wars replay. So on bottom left side as the blue Judy, we've got Yukikaze. On top of right side as the green Hawk, we have Sailor SK. When it comes to COs, Hawk is of course a custom CO in Tiny Wars. Standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 30, 70, 120 with maximum energy of 120. All units get additional plus 20% offense, plus 10% defense. Force at 50 energy, Black Wave at 100 energy, which is not the maximum energy. We got Black Storm. When it comes to Judy, Judy's of course a custom CO, standard boarding or reduced boarding cost of 30%, 3 radius, no extension, no energy, no power or superpower. With day-to-day benefits of plus 20% offense, plus 10% defense as well, and of course plus 30% salvage. So let's get started. Juice begins to slip. Got it. Infantry units. Of course, this map is a 2-base map, 1 airport. Both players who start off a nice pair of 4 temporary airports for our forward resupply is very nice. Temporary airports also can hide air units like regular airports. And of course, we do have this tile here on both sides. It was a forest with a river underneath, which annoys the ever-living crap out of me. See that blue? There's a river there. Of course, it does not have any effects of river, but still annoys the ever-living crap out of me. Double bike there for both sides. 5,000 money, so double bike like the next turn as well, unless Hawk could save up for a battlecopter. If it goes for double infantry, it goes infantry bike, keeps 1,000 funds in the bank, so you'll have 9,000 funds next turn, so you will be able for tank infantry. Judy has 6,000 monies in the bank this turn. Next turn, she could goes for recon infantry. If she would have gone for double infantry, she could have gone for battlecopter double infantry. Oh, T-copter. Did not expect that. Tank bike. T-copter double double T-copter. That's interesting. Maybe it's going to try to go for this set of cities as well. This infantry unit could go for the seaport. I'm not sure when he's going to try to load up the T-copter. Maybe it goes make a fall back home. Of course, I got a CO tank here. Got a T-copter of her own. Whoever can reach the cities first will be uncontested. You have to use a battlecopter to clear it out. Capture the radar station. Radar station does provide income and also provide 3 defense stars, as well as the vision. Artillery tank. Oh, recon does get stuck. She interrupts her own capture. And no nearby bike to join capturing that radar station. Tank flare. Ooh. Another thing got stuck. This time a loaded T-copter. Though in this case shouldn't be too big of an issue. And how many traps were with this turn? Judy likes getting stuck like a stepsister. And the T-copter does land there, and there's no way Judy can clear it out. Another trap there. A battlecopter will have to clear it out. Hawk can seal this tank next turn. Battlecopter, artillery, infantry. He could also seal the battlecopter or the infantry. You can always seal an infantry unit there. And I suppose you can seal the artillery. Getting some good salvage there. Up to 8. Another trap. Wow, how many traps have been in this game? There's like usually more traps in this game there's been in normal games. And it's now just turn 11. So turn 10, Judy probably got trapped a good number of times. I think it's getting real foggy, real fast. Yep, the fog's setting in. The worst I've ever seen fog is when I was deployed to Kuwait. Before the fog settled in, the humidity was so thick that it was obscuring light between our checkpoints. Oh god. That T-copter how many times got trapped with infantry loaded inside of it? How pissed off is this Judy? She goes for a duster. She's pissed off. Even though that doesn't... I don't think it's... It may be too early for a T-cop or duster, honestly. But still. I suppose this map is known for good battlecopters. Since it's only 2 base, 1 airport. And now occupies the last neutral city with the infantry unit. So the T-copters just can't occupy it. But the battlecopter can come in for a sortie. Wait, what? T-copters is 1 vision range. T-copters have 1 vision range, don't they? I feel so bad for this Judy. Oof. I don't even know what to say anymore. Anti-air tank. Takes out that tank there. Hawks at 41 energy. Pasta Duster. Hawk goes for Battleship here. Not really needed. I don't think that was a good idea. Of course, I don't think he has vision of this T-copter or Battlecopter. Takes out the T-copter, hits the infantry unit there. Or no, the T-copter fell back. I saw the else explode the corner of my eye. Battlecopter hits Battlecopter. Which means this battleship doesn't have any anti-air support, at least not any proper anti-air support. Judy gets trapped again, but this time it's against a battleship on the top of property. And this battleship has nowhere to hide. It can't hide on this reef since the battlecup's already next to it. The best thing the battleship could do is just hunker down the seaport and start shelling away and hold out till anti-air shows up. Gunboat? Why gunboat? Free, I'm sure you think you're talking about up here. Yeah, it looks like Judy has no infantry up north to transport up to those islands. Next turn, the T-copter can make its way towards this mountainside. T-copter should end his turn top of the city, so as a move forward 2 tiles and hop over the mountain in the following turn. Battlecopter does manage to escape, does not park itself on top of the temporary airport. And we still got this T-copter lurking about, and this Battlecopter is spotted by this infantry unit there. So when this Battlecopter leaves, the T-copter can quickly grab something and drop it off over there. Oh boy. Battlecopter anti-air and tank. Those little bit infantry unit inside the T-copter. Could have more upper movement by ending his turn on top of the city. But I think the Judy player might be more frustrated at this moment in time. The battleship did get sunk by a bomber, which is one way to counter that. And Hawk his anti-air is very far away. A Duster wouldn't be half bad right now. Battlecopter is spot on the captured temporary airport. Hawk has access to his power as well. One health infantry getting trapped is not a huge issue. Pops a power, and that infantry does not get hit. The missile has been pulled in the field. The missile knows that for knows where it's now. Battlecopter infantry. Nukes the gunboat. Trying to capture the seaport will take an extra day thanks to the power. T-copter here. Excuse me. Judy right now has 2 bombers in the field and has a massive income advantage. 140,000 on the field versus 91, and she still has a day to day. 151. That battleship was definitely a horrible call. Excuse me, getting hiccups. Damn it. Oh no, not the hiccups. My hiccups last for about an hour. Bomber, pair of infantry. Sacks that infantry unit there. And does scout out the infantry unit there. Nukes it for bomber. T-copter. Advancing. T-copter. Can steal. Get some good picks in center. Judy's doing still very well this game. Even how frustrating it was, I think that battleship, the point of that battleship was actually possibly losing move for Hawk. Because he's very far behind there. That battleship did not provide enough value. He wouldn't provide enough value for the number of units nearby. She goes for her own battleship. She also has a good number of bombers in the field. That was not interrupted there. This will be captured next turn. Don't tell me. Do not tell me. Does stop the capture that seaport. Battlecopter tank and tank. This helicopter's going to run out of fuel. There's nothing to stop it. Bombers rotating up north. But Hawk could probably... No, he can't put the T-copter... No, he could put the T-copter right here and perhaps try interrupting, but the tank could take it out. And I think as well, this was what, I suppose having a park on top of the city there would not made it any closer, but still... It would probably end his turn still right there. But at least it wouldn't be a trap. Actually, no, it would have made this turn to push forward. It would have ended his turn there. The following turn, it would see stuff there. This bomber takes on the battleship as well. Duster's in range. And cruiser. Missiles out of range to protect the bomber. So this Duster can get a good shot there. In the effect of the CO zone as well. So get a decent amount of salvage, not to mention the anti-air support as well. Nukes the infantry unit. Wait, what's the vision rate of a bomber? I don't know the vision rate of the bomber. Does Judy see this T-copter? Takes out the bomber with full salvage at 30%. Takes out the missile there with full salvage there. Judy, the current rate's going to win the game, but how frustrating is she's going to make this on herself? She has also vision entirely of the map right now. 3 vision? Okay. It's like one of those things like I don't remember off the top of my head. Takes out a CO battlecopter. Ends her to 185 versus 71. Yeah, Judy's probably... Yeah. And Hawk resigns there. And Judy never touched these cities. Oh. She won the game quite handily, but still, that must have been so painful for her. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on the next replay. As mentioned beforehand, that will be my last replay for tonight. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, have a good evening, and get some good rest.